Alright, let's go over the review quiz number 2, and let's start by number 1. Multiply the given numbers. And you notice that one of the numbers is positive and the other one is negative. This is a positive number. It's a plus 9. We don't have to include the positive sign. And this is a negative number, an 8. And so we know the rules. A minus times a minus will give me a plus, while a minus times a plus will give me a minus sign. Therefore, in this case, I have a negative times positive, so I'm going to have to end up with a negative answer. 8 times 9, 72. That was number 1. Multiply the given numbers. Now I have a negative times a negative, therefore the final answer should be a positive. 7 times 4, 28, carry 2, 7 times 1, 7, and 2, 9. So 98 is an answer, and it's a positive 98. This one is a negative 72. Divide the given numbers. So I'm dividing 100 divided by negative 20. So I can get rid of the negative sign because I know that positive divided by negative is negative. Therefore, the answer should be negative. And 100 divided by 20, let's go ahead and divide 100 by 20. The zeros cancel. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 times 2, 10. Remainder 0. So the final answer should be negative 5. Divide the given numbers. Now I have a negative divided by a negative, which will give me a positive number. So that's a positive number when I divide negative by negative. Now let's divide 84 divided by 3. 8 divided by 3 is a 2. 2 times 3 is 6, and the remainder is 2. Bring down the 4, and 24 divided by 3 is 8, and 8 times 3, 24. And the answer is plus 28, because a negative divided by negative is positive. Alright, let's do more. Divide, and now we have a decimal number divided by a negative number. Again, positive divided by negative, the answer is negative. Now let's divide. 34.2 divided by 3. 3 by 3 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. And the remainder is 0. Bring down the 4. 4 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. Remainder is 1. Now we have the decimal. Move the decimal up here. Bring down the 2. 12 divided by 3 is 4. 4 times 3, 12. Remainder 0. Now this is a negative 11.4 because a positive divided by a negative equals a negative. Now what is 17 divided by 0? Let's try this number. 17 divided by 0. What's the number you multiply by 0 to give you 17? Nothing. Nothing you can multiply. Anything you multiply by 0 is going to give you 0, and you go back to 17 when you subtract. So we're going to say it's undefined. So 17 divided by 0 can be written as a fraction, 17 over 0, and there is no way we can find the answer for this. Divide, you should check your result by multiplying. Okay, when you divide fractions, you need to rewrite those first term, but then you multiply. Change division to multiplication and do the reciprocal of the second fraction. And that's going to be 22 over 16. Now we can multiply straight across, or we can simplify numerator with denominator. Notice that 8 by 8 is 1. 16 by 8 is 2, so I divided up and down by 8. Notice that 11 by 11 is 1 and 22 by 11 is 2. So I end up with negative 2 over 2, which is negative 1. Okay, so notice 8 by 8 is 1 and 16 by 8 is 2, so I end up with 2 here, 1 here. Also 22 divided by 11 is 2, so 2 over 2 is 1, but I still have that negative sign here, so the final answer is -1. Alright, very important to recognize the difference between squaring a parentheses where the square will cover both the negative sign and the 12, and the answer would be a -12 times -12, which is a minus times minus plus. A 12 times 12 is 144. And this one, the square only covers the 12. So the minus sign will stay outside, and we're multiplying 12 times 12. And therefore we have one negative sign. That's going to be a -144. So very much make sure to understand the difference between a number 5, let's say, with a square outside the parentheses. That square will cover both, and this would be -5 times -5, and that would be plus 25, while a -5 without parentheses and a square, it only covers the 5. So the minus sign will stay outside, and then we're multiplying 5 times 5, and that would give me a -25. So explain what is meant by each of these terms. Simplify. So let me give you an example about how to simplify. You can have something like 35 over 75. That's a fraction, and if I ask you to simplify, then you have to reduce the fraction to lowest terms. What is 35? It's 5 times 7. And what is 75? 5 times 1, 5, right? Because 5 times 5, 25, 5 carry 2, 5 times 1, 5, and 2, 7. Notice that a 5 and 5 will cancel, and the final answer would be 7 over 15. 15 is 3 times 5, 7 is just 7, so nothing we can simplify here. So our final answer is 7 over 15. Evaluate. What does evaluate means? We could have like something x minus y over 2, given x equals 10 and y equals 2. And they tell you evaluate this expression. You would substitute x equals 10, substitute y equals 2, and simplify. 10 minus 2 is 8, over 2 would be 4. What does solve mean? Solve means you have to find the numerical value of x. X plus 4 equals 10, and that question would be solved. So you subtract 4 from both sides, and you end up with x equals 6. That's what we mean by solve. Find the numerical value of x. So notice that simplify and evaluate, they deal with expressions. Whereas solve, they deal with equations. Equations where we have an equal symbol. So notice here, when I said simplify 35 over 75, there were no equal symbol. When I said evaluate x minus y over 2, there were no equal symbol. So simplify deals with expressions, solve deals with equation. Simplify, see, this is an expression, right? We're going to simplify this. You have parentheses, you have square, okay? We can do both at the same time. We can subtract 100 minus 19, which is an 81, and then we can square 3 times 3, which is 9, right? So we can do both simplification at the same time. 100 minus 19 is 81 divided by 3 squared, that's a 9, and 81 divided by 9 is 9, because 9 times 9, 81. We're going to simplify here. Okay, so this is multiplication, this is multiplication. The best way to be consistent on this, you know, the multiplication are always the one that comes first. When you have an order operation, you can do between multiplication, addition, multiplication comes first. But since we have two multiplication, I would like to go with the multiplication that is on the left first. So I'm going to multiply 7 times 21. Let's leave 9 times -3 for the next step. Then here also we have multiplication and we have addition. Always multiplication goes first. So 21 plus 9 times -3 is -27. So now all we have is addition. But notice we have opposite sign, therefore we need to subtract. 27 minus 21 is 6. But 27 is more negative. That's why the final answer is negative 6. Let's go over this one more time. In this problem here, we have 7 times 3 plus 9 times negative 3. Again, the only two operations are multiplication, addition. Which one goes first? Always multiplication goes first. But notice we have two multiplications, so we need to start with the multiplication, always the one that is on the left. That's the one that goes first. So 7 times 3, 21. And then we have plus 9 times negative 3. Now the only two operations are multiplication, addition, and always multiplication goes first. So 9 times negative 3 is negative 27. So now we are left with only one operation, which is addition. But now we're adding two opposite sign numbers, therefore we have to subtract. 27 minus 21 is 6. But notice that 27 is more negative than 21, therefore the answer is negative 6. Okay, let's go to the next question, and this is number 12. And number 12, we have to evaluate the expression for the given value. So negative 486 divided by, what is x? X equals negative 3. So right away, because it's a negative number, we're going to make sure we have two parentheses, and then the whole thing is raised to the power 3, right? Because notice that x cubed, so whatever is x is raised to the power 3. X is negative 3, so the whole negative 3 should be raised to the power 3. Now, we have division, and we have exponents. Exponents goes first. So let's simplify the exponents first. So this is negative 486 divided by negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3. That's negative 27. Negative raised to a power negative 1 to a power odd number will stay negative. And negative 1 raised to an even number is positive 1. By even number, I mean 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, etc. By odd number, I mean 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. So raising a negative to an even number makes it positive. Raising a negative to an odd number makes it negative. Keeps it negative. So negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 is negative 27. Let's divide 486. Forget about the minus sign, because negative divided by negative makes it positive. So all we have to do, divide 486 by 27. Now 48 divided by 27. 27 times 2 is 54, so that's only 1. 1 times 27 is 27. Remainder 1, 2. Bring down the 6. So we have 216 divided by 27. Let's try 21 divided by 2. So if it's, is it 9? 9 times 7, 63. 9 times 2, 18. And 3, 21. So that works. Alright, so let's try 9 times 7, 63. 3 carries 6. 9 times 2, 18, and 6, that's too much. Let's try 8. 8 should work. 8 times 7, 56. 8 times 2, 16. 16 and 5, 21. Subtract 0. Final answer is plus 18. Alright, so we went over the exponents first because it's raised to the power 3. The negative sign will stay. And then 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. Then a negative divided by negative is positive, and the answer is 18. Evaluate the expression for the given value. We have negative, so I put x. Now remember, I'm going to always, because x is negative 4, I want to make parentheses and include the negative 4, raise it to the power 2. So 2 only covers x. It doesn't cover this sign here. Okay, plus 7 times x, which is negative 4. Okay, equals. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I want to square that number. Negative 4 times negative 4 is plus 16, but I have a minus sign here. So I'm going to have minus parentheses 16, right? Now we have 7 times negative 4, and that's negative 28. So notice what I did the squaring first, then I did the multiplication. So squaring exponents always comes first, then we do the multiplication. And plus times minus is minus, 7 times 4, negative 28. Notice I have negative 16, negative 28. Like signs, we add, right? Like signs, we add. So all we have to do, add these two numbers and save the sign. So 16 plus 28. What is 16 plus 28? 8 and 6, 14. 4 carry 1. And 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 and 1, 4. So that's a negative 44. So 8 plus 6 is 14, carry 1. 3 plus 1, 4. Like signs, we save the sign. So the final answer is negative 44. Number 14, simplify. 7x4 plus y. Now notice that negative 5, I want to distribute to both terms inside the parentheses. Negative 5 times x4 is negative 5x4. And negative 5 times plus 3y is negative 15y, right? Because negative times positive is negative. 5 times 3, 15, and y. Okay, so these are called like terms. 7 minus 5 is 2x4. And these are called like terms. Minus 15 plus 1 is minus 14y. So going back over this one more time, all I did here is first I distributed the minus 5. Minus 5 times x4 is minus 5x4, and minus 5 times 3y is minus 15y. So minus times plus is minus. 5 times 3, 15y. Notice that 7x4 and negative 5x4 are called like terms because they have the same variables. So 7 minus 5 is 2, and we leave the same x4. Here we have these two are like terms because they have the same variable y, except this is 1y, this is negative 15, so we're going to combine them because they're opposite sign, we're going to subtract. And negative 15 plus 1 is negative 14y. Remember, 15 minus 1 is 14. This is more negative, so the final answer is negative 14. All right, let's go to the next one. Simplify. Now we have a minus sign before the parentheses. We want to make sure to distribute that minus sign to both terms inside the parentheses. And anytime you have a minus sign before the parentheses, all the terms inside the parentheses will change their signs. So we have an x becomes negative x. We have a negative 11 becomes plus 11 because the minus sign will change the signs of the term inside the parentheses. So these two are called like terms. We have a 7x, we have a 1x, that's a 6x plus 11. These two are unlike terms, final answer, okay? So can't do any more on 6x and 11 because they're unlike terms. We cannot combine them. Solve and check. We want to isolate p. We're going to use what is called the addition principle. We're going to add the same number to both sides of the equation, and that would help me move the 3 to the left side. So how do I do that? If I subtract 3 from both sides, that 3 minus 3 becomes 0, and therefore the left side or the right side is only p. And 9 minus 3 is 6. That's the final answer. Let's check. 9 equals p plus 3. What is p? 6. 6 plus 3, is it equal to 9? Yes. So p equals 6 is the final answer. Solve and check. Also, I want to isolate b. How do I move the negative 7 to the right side? All I have to do, add the opposite of negative 7. And the opposite of negative 7 is plus 7. So I'm adding 7 to both sides. Negative 7 plus 7 is 0, so I'm only left with b. And negative 19 plus 7, these are opposite signs, so we need to subtract. 19 minus 7 is 12. Because 19 is more negative, the answer should be negative 12. Solve and check. So both these two, we use the addition principle. For this one, I'm going to use the multiplication principle, because I cannot solve this problem using the addition principle. I have to use the multiplication principle. What is the multiplication principle? You multiply or divide both sides by the same number, does not change the equation. So this time we need to divide by 3, because 3 over 3 will cancel, and that would make it a d by itself. And what is negative 42 divided by 3? Negative divided by positive is negative. 4 divided by 3 is 1. Remainder 1. 12 divided by 3 is 4. Find an answer. Let's check. 3d equals negative 42. Replace d by negative 14. 3 times 4, 12. 3 times 1, 3, and 1, 4. Plus times minus, minus. So we got it right. So therefore, d equals minus 14 is the final answer. So make sure you understand the difference between multiplication principle and the addition principle. See, here we can add the opposite. Here we have to divide the coefficient, or the number, the 3, divide by 3 both sides, okay? So we can isolate d. This is the same. This is multiplication principle also. So multiplication principle, we need to multiply both sides by a number that will make this x. So we have 3/5 x equals 2/3. The only way we can isolate x, remove this, is multiply both sides, but what we call the reciprocal of 3/5. The reciprocal of 3/5 is 5/3. So by definition, the reciprocal, we flip the fraction. We don't change the sign, right? We only flip the fraction. Multiply both sides by 5/3. So, but make sure to multiply both sides. So you multiply this side by 5/3. You got to multiply this side by 5/3. Now, why reciprocal? Because guess what? If I multiply 5 times 3 and 3 times 5, I'm going to get 15 over 15 x equals here 10 over 9. What's nice about 15 over 15 is a 1. So I'm done. I have isolated x. And the final answer is 10 over 9. This cannot be reduced any further because 10 is 2 times 5. 9 is 3 times 3. No common factor. So that would be my final answer. Okay, so anytime you have a fraction before x, the only way to isolate x is to multiply by what is called the reciprocal, both sides of the equation. You multiply both sides of the equation by the reciprocal of, in this case, 3 over 5, which is 5 over 3. Solve and check. And here we have to use both the addition and the multiplication principle. Addition and multiplication. First, we use the addition principle. Subtract 26 from both sides. So negative 9x, 26 plus negative 26 is 0. 26 minus 26 is 0. Now we have to subtract. What is 44 minus 26? This is 8 and 1. 44 is more positive. The answer is plus 18. Now we still have negative 9x equals plus 18. How do we get rid of that negative 9? Divide both sides by negative 9. Because negative 9 over itself is 1. Any number divided by itself is 1. So x would be negative 2, because 18 divided by negative 9 is negative 2. Let's check. We have negative 9x plus 26 equals 44. Replace x by negative 2. So negative 9 times negative 2 plus 26. This is 18 plus 26. And that's 8 times plus 6, 14, 2 plus 1, 3, 44. So we got the same answer, so that should be 44. So 44 here and 44 here, we got the same answer. So x equals -2 is the solution. Number 21, solve and check. Notice that these two are like terms. So 7x minus 2x is 5x plus 21. Here, these two are like terms. 12 plus minus 9 is 3 plus 7x. Now we need to separate variables. We need to move the x to the left, move the 21 to the right. Okay? So to move the 21 to the right, I gotta subtract 21 from both sides. To move the 7x to the left, I need to subtract 7x from both sides. So now I have the x on the left side and I have the numbers on the right side. So what is 5x minus 7x? That's a -2x. These two are zeros. These two are also zeros. And 3 minus 21 is just -18, because 21 minus 3 is 18 and 21 is more negative. So I'm almost done. -2x equals -18. Divide both sides by -2. So x would be negative divided by negative is positive. 18 divided by 2 is 9. X equals 9 is the final answer. Let's check. So we have 7x plus 21 minus 2x. So we have 7 times 9, 63. And 63 plus 21, 73, 83, 84. And 84 minus 18. So that would be the left hand side, and you do the same thing for the right hand side to check, and then you will end up with the same equal numbers, because x equals 9 is the answer. Okay? Let's go to the next question. Solve and check. So in this problem, the first thing we would like to do is distribute the 2. Let me start here. 5x minus 14 equals 2 times 3x is 6x, and 2 times -4 is -8. Then we are left with -x, -6. Okay, these are like terms and these are like terms. So 5x minus 14 equals 6x minus x is 5x, and -8, -6 is -14. Now we're going to do the same thing. I want to move the 5x to the left, so I separate variables, and I want to move the minus 14 to the right. So let's do that. To move the 5x to the left, I need to subtract 5x from both sides. And to move the -14 to the right, I have to add 14 to both sides. And guess what happens here? -5x is 0. -14 plus 14 is 0. 5x minus 5x is 0. -14. So I end up with a true statement. And every time you do that and you end up with a true statement, where in this case 0 equals 0, then the solution would be all real numbers. Solution would be all real numbers. Sometimes you can write it as minus infinity plus infinity. Okay? Is an identity. Is also called an identity, and the solution is all real numbers. Let's try this one now. Okay, we have 4a plus 19 equals, let's distribute the 6. 6a minus 24 minus 2a. These two are like terms. We can subtract. So 4a plus 19 equals 4a minus 24. Now we do the same trick. I want to move the 4a to the left, move the 19 to the right. So subtract 4a from both sides. And then to move the 19, subtract 19 from both sides. So 4a minus 4a got a 0, 19 minus 19, I got a 0 on the left side. On the right side, I get 4a minus 4a 0, but negative 24, negative 19, these are like signs. We're going to add them and then save the sign. So 24 plus 19 is 43. Because they're both negative, I'm going to save the sign. Now, is 0 equals negative 43? No, 0 is not equal to negative 43, and this is called contradiction and no solution. Contradiction and no solution. So for this problem, we can either say the empty set is the solution, or we said the empty set also, this is the symbol for the empty set, or just say no solution. Number 24, solve and check. Okay, now we're dealing with decimal number, that's fine. We can do the same. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to move the n term to the left and then move this constant to the right. To do that, I'm going to add the opposite of 6.32n to both sides. 6.32n to both sides. So this way I move the negative 36.32n to the left. I add its opposite to both sides. To move the negative 19.43 to the right, I'm going to add its opposite to both sides. So add 19.43. And let's do the addition now. Okay, adding these two together. So 2 plus 2, 4. Let's leave the n here. 7 plus 3, 10. 0, carry 1. Bring down the decimal. 6 plus 1, 7 plus 2, 9. So we get 9.04, and let's make sure we're doing this right. 2 plus 2, 4. 7 plus 3, 10. 0, carry 1. 7 plus 2, 9. Bring the decimal. Okay, these two will cancel. 19, 43 plus 19, they cancel. So this is equal. These two, they cancel because they're exactly the opposite. Now we have to add these two. 3 plus 5, 8. 4 plus 3, 7. Bring down the decimal. 9 plus 1, 10. 0 and carry 1. 1 plus 1, 2. So we're almost done. We need to divide both sides by 9.04. Divide both sides by 9.04. Great. Let's do the division now. So we have 20.78 divided by 9.04. Since we have two decimals here, two decimals on both, we can remove the decimal. So let's go ahead and remove those decimals. 2078 divided by 904. Let's try 2 times. 2 times 4, 8. 2 times 0, 0. 2 times 9, 18. Subtract. 8 minus 8, 0. 7 minus 0, 7. And 8 from 10 to 0. 270. Let's add the decimal, add a 0. 2700. Okay, let's try 3 times. 3 times 9, 3 times 4, that's too much. Let's try 2 times. So 2 times will bring me back the 1808. And therefore, if we subtract, we're going to get 2, 9, 9 from 17, 8, 0. So one more time, let's add a 0. Alright, let's try 9 times 9, 81. Let's try 9, see if it works. 9 times 4, 36. 9 times 0, 0. And 3. 3. 9 times 9, 81. So that's a 4. And 8. And 7. And that's 0. So let's stop here. Looks like the answer is 2.29. So n equals 2.29. We can go back and check by substituting n as 2.29. Alright, the last problem, we have a fraction 2/3 x plus 1/5 equals 7/10 plus x. Alright, the best way to solve this problem is to multiply all terms by the lowest common denominator, which is in this case 30, because 30 is a multiple of 3, 30 is a multiple of 5, and 30 is a multiple of 10. So let's multiply everybody by 30. Start by the first one. 30 times 2, 60. 60 divided by 3, 20. So we got 20x. 30 multiplied by 1, 30. 30 divided by 5 is 6. 30 times 7, or 30 divided by 10 is 3. 3 times 7, 21. 30 times x is 30x. So let's move the 30x to the left, move the 6 to the right. So minus 30x plus 20x is negative 10x. Move the 6 to the right, 21 minus 6 is 15. So divide both sides by negative 10 and that would be the final answer. So that would be negative 15 over 10. Let's reduce the fraction. Up and down divisible by 5. 15 by 5 is 3. Let's give the negative sign. And 10 by 5 is 2. So that would be the final answer.